welcome back to the channel, and thank you for tuning in to Johnny's Motorized Bicycles. In front of us we have Bear's motor. Something got in here. I think it was the plug, the plunger for the carburetor, the bleeder. I think that got sucked into the motor, got chewed up and stuck in something. Motor is stuck right now as we sit here. Kind of lucked out because it wasn't in the cylinder. There's no damage anywhere to the cylinder or the head. That's good. There was flakes of metal on top of the piston and stuff that I found. That's how I knew there was metal inside the motor, along with the fact that it doesn't turn. So I'm not holding it. It's stuck. Now I can pop it loose. If I put a screwdriver in the gear or under here, it will come loose. There is small nicks like on the bottom. I mean, the metal definitely started interfering a little bit, but it didn't cause any major damage. That's the main thing here. No real damage to anything. So that's great. If there's a problem with the bearing, then I'll obviously rip the bearings apart, but there is something in here that I want to change to begin with. Very excited in a way that I was able to get in here. Fortunately, I didn't really want to, but at the same time I am happy that I'm getting to, because I just want to change one thing that I was not happy with, that I did rectify on the next motor. Every motor I learned something, guys. I'm going to finish breaking this apart. I gotta take the crank out to see what's going on in there, not to mention one of the big things I want to fix is right there in the wrist pin, so we're breaking it down regardless. While I got you here though, let me see if I can take this nut off. Now, I'm going to take the clutch off. Let's see. I might break it loose by doing this. I was able to unscrew the nut. Look at that. The nut on the clutch came loose. That's how jammed up this thing is. I'm sure we'll figure out what it is, and it's nothing catastrophic. We know what the problem is. When I looked inside the cylinder, I only looked through the head. The piston was still in there because it was still on the motor. Well, with the piston out, you are able to see damage. Now, is this damage going to be a problem? I don't think so. So we're going to run it. But let me show you. See the transfer over there? It's got walls. It's supposed to look like that. It got blowed out. See the inside there? That's what it's supposed to look like. And that is what it looks like. Now, I know there's people that actually cut the walls out of the transfers, so I really don't see this being a problem. I don't think it's going to change the performance in any way, but we definitely have problems. There is no issue with my spacer or my shim, whatever you want to call it, that I made. That seems fine. I might have to crack that crank apart because I might have to clean that bearing out. And don't mind me, I am slightly stuffy. So you can see the lines. None of this was here before. We were getting contact with the side. You can see here. Okay, there's no real damage, a little scratching. It does catch the screwdriver. None of that was there before. Now both of these bearings were completely clean when I put them in and good to go. This bearing, I mean, you can hold it by the cage down at the bottom here, spin it around nice and freely. Okay, move it with my finger, super easy. This one, it's literally moving the thing. Now it will move if I hold it, and it's weird. I don't feel it binding. It is the same amount of pressure no matter where it is, so I'm not really sure what's going on with this bearing. It's weird. So I gotta take this out. We're probably gonna put another bearing in here because even if I clean this out, I just don't trust it now. So honestly, there was just a lot of carnage. A lot of bad stuff happened here. Pretty much nothing good. The only really good thing is there was no catastrophic damage where this is not repairable. Alright, well, I'm putting it back together obviously, and it looks like a fresh crack, but his end just slightly looks dirty on the end over here, like at the very end. Maybe it was cracking, I don't know, but the piston is cracked on the intake side because it's all the way up to the transfer. A huge crack. They obviously cannot leave that in there because that will change the timing way too much. Not to mention could mix with the transfer because of where it goes on the side like that. So I have another piston. It's a used piston. I save any piston that I think is possibly usable. This was in a motor that blew up. It's got gouging on the side, but nothing that sticks out. It's just in it. You see the grinding marks because I cleaned it all off and made sure it was all smooth. It's all smooth. It's not pretty, but whatever. I'm going to use the rings. They match the cylinder. Only thing I don't like about this one, it's got a skirt. It's not a big skirt, but it is a skirt. This piston was not skirted. I didn't need it. But after the other motor I put together, I'm running out of pistons just laying around, to be honest with you guys, because this is also a Type B piston. This is a high hole. I only have so many. All I do know is this is gonna work because it has to. I put my recessed holes in it, I drilled them out, everything's ready to go. So we're going back to where we were 20 minutes ago. I get asked a lot, and I also see it as a comment a lot on how you put in cert clips. Now mind you, my cert clips don't have the G's. They are just a C. So this is how I do it. I just set it in there, I get it where I want it, I pinch the bottom in, up against the hole, and I just take my little screwdriver and I just push it in. And it snaps in, easy peasy. Now because I put those recesses to get these out, I always make sure that the open part is lined up with the recess. I heard other people say don't do it like that. I don't know. There's nothing holding the cert clip in that spot. So if you have it there, there's a better chance of it pushing out in my eyes. So I do it this way. You don't want to do it this way, don't do it this way, but I think it's better this way. Okay, she's back together, all sealed up. There is no base gasket, there is no case gasket. They got a head gasket in there. I didn't check for port timings or anything like that because it is just going to be what it is. The only thing I got left to do is dig out another carburetor so I can put carburetor on. Other than that, we're good. This is what I dug out of the motor. Now these were the shims that I was putting in to hold the wrist pin bearing from moving side to side. I decided to not put anything in there. These were obviously a problem, or about to become a problem. You could tell because this is not the size they were when I put them in there. However, this one and all this, these were where they're supposed to be. So all this was still where it was supposed to be, but all this was just laying in the bottom of the case, and that's what was jamming up the motor from moving. So I took these out until I come up with a better idea. I am testing a new idea in a different motor already. Until I know more, I'm not going to put anything in here. I really thought this was going to be good, but only thing I didn't like about this was the weight of it because it's steel. But it's obvious that that is not any good. This, I'm thinking, is part of the clip. This is like welded together, kind of twisted in there. That held the plunger in for this, that got sucked in. I really just don't know. Either way, it's all together. It's all fixed. Lots of carnage. Let me get the carburetor out and let's go get this on the bike because it needs to happen. Okay guys, so I got this on yesterday. I actually didn't video it because it was getting dark late and then it started raining. But the main thing is it would not start yesterday. It acted like there was zero spark at all. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna spin it over and we're gonna look for spark. I mean, technically I don't need to take the spark plug out, but it does make for spinning the engine over much easier. I did put a new carburetor on and you can see it is definitely working. Here, smell. Yeah, smell it? It smells like fuel, so it's definitely getting fuel. So that's, I mean, just by the way it sounded yesterday, it didn't sound like a fuel issue. Oh no, there's definitely spark. Can you guys see that? So it is definitely getting spark. Well, that's good. That's definitely good, but it's also kind of not good. Because then why isn't it starting? It should just start right up. Do you know what I mean? So what does that mean? I don't know what that means. I'll be honest, I have no idea. It means that we are now going to be confused like no other with something that should just work. I'm kind of wondering if it won't start because of the piston I had to put in. I'm gonna take this off even though I really don't want to. I didn't check for intake timing. The new piston I put in had a skirt, which shouldn't have made a difference, but now I'm worried about free porting. Okay, so we don't have a free port issue for sure. So the only other thing it could be then, and the piston I put in does look completely fine. It looks like it's doing great. We definitely have compression by how hard it is to spin. So the only thing I could think is it's the carburetor. So I'm thinking maybe I should put the other carburetor back on.
Nope.
And just change out the bleeder. All right guys, so I want to show you something here. So when I put this motor back together, I did it late night. Also, I do remember 100% when I put this on, I had the motor upside down, the way I had it in my vise, because I was putting something else together, I forget what. But when I put the magnet on, and you saw I checked for spark. Now, just because I assumed, which is dumb, never assume anything, you should always check, and that's why I eventually checked, but I should have checked first, so lesson learned. But I assumed I put the magnet on correctly. That's why I looked for spark, had spark. You guys saw it, had spark. Checked for the carburetor. It's got fuel getting in there, but it's not starting. I don't understand what's going on. When I put the magnet on, I put it on upside down, or backwards, or however you want to say it. That's the way I did it. This is supposed to be at the 1 o'clock position, like this. So it had spark, which it will still make spark if this is on wrong, except it won't make spark when you need it. So even though we had spark, we didn't have it at the right time. So that is more than likely the culprit. Okay, everything's connected. Let's hope for the best. Oh, started right up. Why would it backfire? Still don't know why it would randomly misfire out the intake like that. It's timing, but then it just stopped and went away. So that's weird. At least I think it's weird. Well, there you go, guys. Running really nice, real smooth feeling. Guys, I have my bike out here and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Something's not right. Like, listen. But it will idle all day like this. But when I was just sitting here looking at it, look at that. You guys see it? Like the set came on. Probably a really good thing that this thing wasn't running right, because that's a problem. So whatever the issue is, that's God telling me don't ride it. So we're taking it back, and I need to fix the rear wheel, but I really want to figure out what's wrong with this motor and why it's running like that. So why it's doing that, I have no idea. And I gotta make sure I can get to work tomorrow. So this needs a lot of work, but then the Purple Nightmare also needs work. And the mule needs work. I took the coil out of it to put into the other build, but now that build is done and I have a coil I could put in it. I don't know, I got a lot to do over here. But I personally don't have a good runner right now. Well, Purple Nightmare, but I gotta fix that rear wheel. Let me decide what I'm gonna do and then I'll let you know. Okay guys, I'm gonna show you when I get over there, but I'm fixing Purple Nightmare's rear rim. It has got a bend in it. The reason it's got a bend is it has 2 broken spokes. Now I have fixed this rim once before. This one, 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 and this one. I don't know if I said that one, but that one too. I've replaced all them. So we're gonna replace some more. Oh, that's really on there. Dave, you think you could help me hold this, please? I'm gonna be pushing it this way, so try to hold it from spinning on me.
You got it.
Ready?
Yep.
Oh man, it's just spinning on there. Hold on, let me get a different wrench. This thing's stripping. I don't want to strip it.
Hello, Moto.
Yes, hello. Yeah, I'm in the back. All right, bye. Okay. Try holding it there. I'm gonna see if I can't step on it.
Grip on it. All right.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Oh, good.
Well, that's one problem solved.
Yeah, that's the hardest problem solved. Alright guys, so you see him coming to pick up his bike. That's just great. I'm glad to get his bike out of here. So I finished working on the rim for Purple Nightmare, so I got away to work. Not a problem, rim goes together good. I was gonna end off the video there, but then all of a sudden, 4 days later, I get a call. And it's a very familiar bike, and we need to fix it again. Lives on. Okay guys, so we are back once again on Paul's bike. Seems like we're always working on this thing. But I want to show you guys what it's doing. I do not know what's wrong with it. I have an idea, but I do not know. It was running real good, but I only got it for a mile and then he came and picked it up. So I didn't get to really ride it and tune it out to make sure it's good because he needed the bike to get back and forth to work. It does run slightly better on choke, and I'll show you that. It starts up, it idles, and when you hit the throttle, it just chokes out, like it's just too much air. Then you put the choke on a little bit, basically to get rid of some of the air, to get more fuel, and it does run slightly better for a little bit, and then as soon as you get more throttle, it dies out again. Let me show you. Not starting. Put the choke on, boom, start it right up. Take choke off. See? There you go, choke is off a little bit. So it's obvious it's not getting enough fuel. I mean, when you put the choke on, it doesn't feed more air to it. So the only thing it can be is fuel. Obviously everything else works. So we're gonna do normal things. I'm obviously gonna pop the carburetor off. I'm gonna look, make sure it's not clogged up, make sure the jet isn't clogged or anything like that, which I do not think it is. I think it is 100% completely fine, but we'll see. I'm a little out of breath, guys. I just took up a new desk upstairs. You'll see probably in an upcoming video. I'm out of breath, man. That desk was heavy. You'll see what I mean. It was a big desk. I'm over here in a different spot because there's shade here. We'll pop the carb off. I'll start there, I guess. Fuel level's good in here. This fuel smells horrible. I'm gonna drain this fuel because I don't know if that's part of the problem or not, but I do know that it smells absolutely horrible. Okay guys, I don't know if this is coming through. I hope it is, but that is water in your fuel. Water is heavier than oil, which is fuel. Fuel is petroleum, if you didn't know that. So water sinks to the bottom. That's why when you have water in your fuel, it's the first thing to get into your intake, your carb, your manifold, whatever you got going on, but water will always get in before the fuel, and that's why when you have it in your tank, it will make your carburetor or motor run all messed up, and that's what happened here.
right through the wheel.
She's happy now. How you doing? Ah, yeah, she's ripping now, boys and girls. You. Hey, what's up, brother? Sorry, I was actually out riding your bike just now. It's running again. It was the fuel, it had water in it. Okay guys, real quick, I forgot to turn you on. So that kind of defeats the purpose here. But I put the 80 jet in and it was acting a little funny at first, but then all of a sudden it came around. But I also quickly got reminded why the motor wasn't even the issue. I couldn't pedal and then my pedals took off. The rear cassette came off. So that is a problem, which I'm a little surprised happened, to be honest with you, because I was pretty positive that when it freewheels, it tightens. Not the actual on the hub part, that tightens when you spin, when you pedal, but when you freewheel, it's a reverse thread, so, or no, it's right thread, so it would, when you freewheel, it would tighten. Yeah, it's reverse thread, so that when you just freewheel and the bike's spinning, it would be spinning backwards, and that tightens it. So I don't know how it came off. That seems a little questionable to me, but it wouldn't be Johnny's Motorized Bikes without some questionable things happening. Either way, it seemed to run really good with the 80, but I couldn't stretch its legs because I'm scared that the chain's just gonna suddenly catch on the hub and throw my feet. So, it is what it is. Tomorrow is another day. I did go up to the 80 jet. Now stock, they come with 70s. I had a 72 on it. It felt like it was starting. I went down to a 68 because these numbers are very similar to the numbers I have on Bear's bike. And Bear's bike was loving the 62. But this one, it acted the same. I put an 80 in it, started running right. So almost 20 points of difference in the jets between this bike and Bear's bike. Almost identical port numbers outside of intake duration and maybe a degree or two in transfer. Completely different setups. It's crazy how different these motors are. So like when someone asks me like, hey, I got this, these degrees, this duration, and I'll say, hey, yeah, go with this jet, it might be completely wrong because 62 in that one, 80 on this one, almost identical port duration numbers. Tell me how that works. I don't know. Same 40 millimeter stroke, same, everything's pretty much the same. They're basically the same motors. Both got type B pistons. So I really don't understand how the difference is happening with them, but it is quite different. It's just, I think, really crazy how that is, but whatever. Tomorrow's a new day. I'm gonna lock everything up. I'm very tempted to take this hub off right now, but I don't want to bring it in the house because I got work to do in the house with my new desk. Plus I have my motor sitting there, which I really do want to tackle getting my black motor up and running. Now I could just dig out the broken bolt, yes, but where's the fun in that? But I have a brand new cylinder sitting there. The black cylinder that's on there right now, I will probably turn into a reed cylinder. I have a G2 reed that would go well on there, but I need another piston. So more than likely I'll turn that cylinder into a reed because it's got too much transfer for the amount of intake I have. So if I turn it into a reed, it just has a good amount of transfer, has all the intake, and then we're good, we fixed it. So that is probably what I'm gonna do with this. I feel like the motor is the heart of the whole thing. If I don't have the black motor on the bike, it is then the heart, and wherever I put my heart is where my new bike will be. And I have my eyes set on a bike that is directly in front of us. You probably can't see it, but I can, and I think with the new motor, it's just gonna be a real slick look. I think that's the bike I'm gonna go with. No guarantees yet, but this one's a 29er. I just want the bigger tires are nice and comfy, so we'll see. All right, that's it for now, guys. Thank you for watching as always. Please like, please subscribe, leave me a comment. Most importantly, go over to Johnny's Motorized Bicycles Facebook group and join that. And I guess I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.